We're going to show you how to extract a 5x5 post today. It's a pressure treated post. This panel fence is deteriorated. Posts, some of them are broken at the ground. How do we remove the post and get another one in with the least amount of complications? Let's try that. Now take a look at this post. It's a leaner and it's really loose. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stabilize it. Now we've already got a support piece. Now we're going to put this in and we're going to stabilize that post. Now let's get the panels unzipped on both sides of the post. We're going to leave the other ends attached and we're going to swing our panels out. This is the easiest way to do it without causing yourself a lot of trouble later trying to get the panels back in. I'm a one-man crew, so I want this to be easy and fast. We're going to use a reciprocating saw and actually with a metal cutting blade and zip some of these screws that are holding the fence in. We got our screws out. Unfortunately, we couldn't use the screw gun to get them out. We had to use the reciprocating saw. We're ready now to swing this panel out and stabilize it. So I'm going to use a knocking block just so I don't damage the fence. Now this panel is going to swing out for you. Now don't overswing. If you do, if you hear cracking, you're overswinging, you're breaking the panel. So just swing it enough so you can dig your hole and get your post out. That's it. That panel's stabilized. If you need to, set a block under here to balance your fence and give a little more support underneath. We're going to do that when we stop the video and put something. Our second panel is disconnected. We're going to swing it out and we're going to stabilize it on the outside with a stake, just like we did with the first one. Again, be careful not to overswing this panel. You don't want to crack and break the other end. Good. Now, our goal, remember, is to take a jack, and that's why you're watching this. You see how we take a 5x5 post out with a bumper jack. That's right, a car bumper jack, circa pre-1970. Now, if I can get this straight out, that would be perfect because I could put a new post in and use only one bag of dry mix cement as opposed to having to use 3 bags. And why 3 bags? If I can't get this out and I have to dig around here all the way down, I'm going to have to use close to 3 bags in order to fasten a new post in. That's a lot more work, it's a lot more material. So let's see what happens here. It's withered away here. You can see below the soil line the deterioration on the wood. You can see where it's cracked. I can pull this little piece out. It's really soft, it's spongy. Not a good sign. This is going to be a hard extraction, if at all. Here's that bumper jack I was telling you about in the beginning. You know, you'd have to be my age to know how to use this. And this is what we used on a chrome bumper, by the way. So we're going to use this to extract the post. That is if it's not too rotten to come out. So we'll wrap this around and continue to roll. Now I put a board underneath the jack so it doesn't sink down too much into the soil. If your substrate is really solid, you may not have to do that. I'm going to. I disconnected my brace from the side here, so this post is floating by itself. Now if we're any bit lucky, we may get the whole post to shift up. Okay, and we are not so lucky. Our post is broken, and I'm going to show you. We just lifted it off. Folks, this means a lot of extra work. So we're going to fast forward this and see what happens. Our post broke. Now, plan B out of plan A, B, or C. We're on plan B. Plan B is to take a timber screw. And we're going to try to see if we can find some solid meat in here. Let's take a look at this. I want to show you what I mean by solid meat in the post. What's left in the ground, well, there's some rotten stuff. This isn't the good stuff, but I noticed some of that wood feels solid. I'm going to take this timber screw and I'm going to try to drive it into that space there. And if I can, I'm going to try to chain that out. using my bumper jack. That's plan B. Let's see what we can do. Alright, we're going to try to jack that whole mess out with using a timber screw. Take your time on this. I saw a little movement, but I'm losing some grip on the bolt. Yeah, it's pulling out. Here goes plan B. Okay, now I'm not totally giving up yet. I'm going to try to insert that screw one more time because I knew there was some solid wood. So I'm going to fool around a little bit and see if I can make that happen again. Okay, we're on plan B2. Okay, we've got some movement here, so we may not be going to plan C. And we want to thank our cameraman for this idea of driving a stake down the side of this rotten post and having our timber screw bite right into the stake. You can see the stake. It's on the left side of your screen there. And that's what's actually made it up to this rotten post and allowing us to pull this right out. Now folks, this took us about 6 or 7 minutes. And I still rather spend 6 or 7 minutes doing this than excavating this post out of there for an hour or more. Because it's coming out, we're going to use minimal cement to get our new post back in. Aren't we lucky? That puts a smile on my face. And there you have it. One rotten post with a bumper jack.